What's up, guys? Welcome to BroBeatzTV. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make keys inside Serum. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post notifications on, make sure you do so because it does help out a lot. Let's hop right into it. So this one will be slightly different. I want to try to do this one in steps because there's a lot of settings and stuff, and if you haven't sound designed inside here before, it will be confusing. Okay, so we already made a bass, so everything from that tutorial will be the same or will spill over into this one. So to get started, first thing we need to do is initialize a preset so that yours looks like mine. So go to menu, initialize preset, and everything should be back to default. So now we're gonna add two oscillators. So on the first one, go to analog, and then we can go to this one right here, or you can choose whichever one you want to. It's all preference. All right, and then on oscillator B, again, you could just choose any random one. I'm going to choose basic shapes. Okay, and now I'm gonna come over here so you can see like the melody. So here it is. Probably turn it up a little bit. Right, and it's very important that you have a melody when making sounds, because most sounds don't sound good when they're played by themselves, right? So that could affect the choices that you make as well. So I suggest you try to come up with some chords or MIDI or something while you do it, so you kind of reference what it will sound like in a song or beat or whatever. All right, so from here, what I'm gonna do is turn this octave up like that. Okay, and then in the envelope, I like to kind of slightly offset a little bit because I like the swoop that it makes. And then I'm gonna turn up that release, and you could do all this down here, but I think it's just easier to do it up here visually. And I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit, and the amount doesn't really matter, it's just whatever. Okay, so now from here, the last few steps in this part, we're gonna automate a few things. So first, let's do the level. I just want to show you can get some cool effects with just simple things like automating the volume. So if we go here to LFO1, click and drag, we can drag it to our level, which is our volume. Okay, and remember the peak in here is the peak here. So say if I grab this little knob here and pull it all the way, the peak will be right here, and then the start will be right here. So that will be represented still over here. So actually show you what I'm talking about. So I'll pull it over here and you'll see. Okay, but that's not the sound I'm looking for. So I'm gonna turn off the BPM. If you want to keep it like this, you can, but I just kind of want to show different things. So I'm gonna turn off the BPM and this. And now we're working with the hertz for the rate. So you can, and let me pull this back over so you can kind of see, and hold Alt to snap it in place. And let's actually flip this like that. And I don't want this to be so harsh, so I'll just pull it all the way up so you can see what it's doing. Okay, and I like that. You could choose whatever you want, but that's just something that you could do just to make it sound a little bit different. Now, the last thing we're gonna do is add like some detuning to it to make it sound a little bit more interesting. So same thing, click and drag, go to the second LFO. And what you wanna do, and it took me a while to kind of figure this out because there's so many detune settings, but you go to fine up here, and I'll zoom in on it on the editing. And you click and drag and drop it right here, and you'll see this big window pop up. What you want to do is go to this circle, pull it all the way down to 0, and you can adjust it later, but we want it at 0 for now. So now same thing, let's turn the BPM off. Again, you don't have to do that. You could just use a bar. I think a bar, 2 bars, like really good because it's not doing too much. And then for these effects, 1 to 2 hertz is good. I'm just go with whatever's right here. And then we can kind of adjust these. And I'm double clicking to add. And then you double click it again to take it away, okay? And let's probably just try something like this. So now you can tell there's not much going on right now, but if we turn this up a little bit, and now it has that tuning. All right, so that's step one. So now let's move on to step two. All right, so now we're gonna add some effects. But first let's turn this filter on, and we wanna automate this real quick. So I will turn this down just a little bit. You don't have to do that. Actually, I'm gonna just put at the default. So I'm gonna take this envelope part so it follows our sound shape and pull it to the cutoff. Okay, so I'll put it extremely so you can hear what it sounds like first. And you can see it has kind of like a little pluck to it. I'm gonna just adjust this real quick. Okay, I think that's good enough. So now let's go to effects. So now we're on a whole different page, and I've already organized these in order just so it's easier to find for me. But in order, this is how I would use it: the chorus, delay, reverb, and then the EQ. And then we have other stuff here, but I think this basic stuff right here will help out a lot. So first, let's start with the EQ. What I like to do on sounds like this is EQ is use one of these little curves. All right. And then on the Q, you can kind of shave off, you can smooth it out or make it peak to a certain frequency, right? Like that, just to put it simply. So I'm gonna kind of make it curve like this. Okay, I think that's good enough. So for reverb, you don't have to do much. I usually turn the size up just a little bit. And this is all creative decisions. All right, the last stuff was more technical, right? Setting things up, but this is more just creative decisions. Whatever you think sounds good, pretty much. And I'm gonna just turn the mix up and then turn it down from there. Okay, I think that's good enough. And you can experiment with a lot of other things, but again, I just want to keep these kind of straightforward and simple at the start, and then we build our skills as each tutorial goes on. So for this, let me see. I usually leave this stuff the same every single time, 1/4. Sometimes I use the ping pong, but normal seems to be the best one for me, for what I like. So I'm gonna just turn this up until I don't like it anymore. Okay, so I really like that ambient vibe, and I'm gonna turn this up a little bit to 80 maybe. All right, the only problem with this is you might run into some issues when it comes to the start. Like when you start your beat, it might be delayed a little bit, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just worried about the sound. Go to chorus. With this one, probably turn this up and turn it down. Turn it down. Actually, we could turn it up a little bit. All right, and let's turn this mix all the way up as well. Just kind of showing you what it's doing. All right, so that's the effects. Now we can automate just a few of these effects just to do something a little bit more advanced. So let's move on to step 3. Okay, so now the last part, we're just automating whatever else that you want to do, right? So for me, I want to automate this chorus a little bit, turn it on and off, and you can do that for anything here. So I'm gonna click and drag this to the right. You can see that now we have the start and the end. So over here, what I'm gonna do is turn this to 2 bars. And then what we can do now is if you hold Shift and Alt, it'll lock everything how you want it. So we could do something maybe like this. Maybe pull this down halfway, pull that up, right? Just do something different. And then and this is extreme, just so you can see what it sounds like. You can see it varies the effect, but I don't want it to vary so much, just a little bit. So I'm gonna turn it down. All right, and you could be done there. But I like to do other things, and I might not use this because I kind of like the way it's sounding right now. But we'll just do one more for practice. So we go to LFO4 and put it on our delay, or you could do reverb. Well, actually, let me see how it sounds with a lot of delay. All right, so I think that'll be too overkill if we do it on the reverb. So let's do it on delay, and this is more just for practice, right? Let's do 2 bars. You could do more than that. And then for this one, you can actually turn the grid down. Let's do it to 4, just so it's a little simpler. And then fade it out, delete. Again, double click one of these to delete it. You could do something like this, and then maybe fade it out. I don't know. Let's pull it up. Let's exaggerate it so you can see the big difference. And I actually don't mind this, so I'm gonna keep it. So that's just something you could do. All right, and you can also name things here, right? You can type in whatever you want. So if you have a bank, you could type your name or whatever. If you had the name of the bank, I don't know, whatever. And then you come up here, save it. All right. And if you have any questions about anything here, you can just hover over it and it'll give you an explanation. So now if we combine this and we go over here with our bass that we made earlier, all right, now we have 2 sounds. They go really well together. So I'll play them. All right, now I actually would take that automation off of that bass just so it's a lot smoother. But that's pretty much it for this video. That's how you create keys, and there's other things you can do we'll go over. But for now, I think this is a good start if you just want to get started in sound designing in Serum. But that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.